shit. Yo. What's up, guys? Let's do this. Hey, what's good, bro? Bodie? Want you know how I know how Good, G. Oh my God, are you gonna stop? You better not. She's trying to knock down stuff up there, yo. My freaking cat, yo. I freaking called the SPCA today and they didn't answer. You motherfucker, you're lucky, yo. I was recording a video trying to make content. And that's probably why I think my content has gone down, was because my cat, yo. You dreamt of this? What, my cat? Just kidding. No, I think that's the reason why my views went down, was because my cat fucking meows the whole time and I'm constantly yelling at my cat, yo. I just went to sleep too for a little bit. Yo, I can hear I need to start documenting this, guys. I want to start documenting this, everything that's happening to me. So I took a nap. Stuff's happening to me still. So I was taking a nap and I can hear, this is what I hear. Hold on, this is what I hear. That's what I hear, yo. That's what I'm hearing in my ear, yo. I can hear something like, there's like a microphone or something. It feels like there's like a microphone in my ear and it feels like someone's rubbing against it or something, yo. At first, it used to sound like someone's breathing, and I know that sounds scary, and it's not my breath. At first, I used to think that it was like, so when I got my tooth pulled, I couldn't hold my breath. Like, I go like this, and all the air from my mouth would come out my nose, because when they pulled out my tooth, indigenous men, their teeth are connected to their sinus for some reason. There's a hole there. So they popped a hole in my sinus and all that. So I thought it was just like there's air in there and I'm breathing, because it's out of tune too. It's not my breath though. Whatever the fuck it is, something's happening and I need to start documenting all of it, yo. Because once it's getting bad now. And I don't want to get to the point where nobody believes me. So I need to start documenting all this. And here's the thing, I wouldn't be able to catch it on camera. It's stuff. Yeah, yo, is what I mean. This is what I mean. They do it to people like me. So nobody believes me and people think we're crazy. They're like, oh, ex-drug addict. Oh, yep, it's drugs. He's crazy. Lost his mind. Oh, yep, he's making it up. Oh, yep, he's doing it for attention. Oh, yeah, he's doing it for content. Oh, yep, he's doing it for the... I'm the perfect person to experiment with if there was stuff happening, you know, because nobody would believe me, you know. So I need to start documenting everything that's happening. I want to document, and I need to, And I'm not crazy, yo, because it's happening to my girlfriend too, yo. It's happening to us. Like, something's going on, yo. There's something going on, yo. Oh, did you? Do I have a camera up? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yo, but here's the thing. I'm not going to be able to catch it. Whatever it is, whatever's happening to me, I'm not going to be able to catch it on camera because whatever happens, it's like in my head or in my ear, or it's just I'm being poked by something too. It feels like an invisible orb, I guess. That's what it feels like. Like, because the other day I felt something going like this to my face. Or sometimes I feel something pushing up my eyes, yo. Yeah, yo, I'm not even kidding, yo. I'm not even kidding, yo. I feel stuff happening, yo. Especially when I'm sleeping and I don't know if it's happening during the day and I don't feel it. But when I'm sleeping and I'm sitting still and I'm meditating, when you sleep, you're going into a meditation. And that's the only thing scientists haven't figured it out yet is why do we sleep when we live in a world with predators and prey? Why do we have to fucking lay down for 12 hours and pretend to be dead, you know? Yeah, whatever, it's something, yo. It's something that I cannot explain, yo. And this isn't the first time I've dealt with weird ass shit like this, yo. I've dealt with stuff like this. I've been pushed. I've been grabbed. All by different stuff, yo. And you know what? Nothing's gonna probably happen because nobody believes people like that. Nobody believes anything like that, so. The Goji, please be quiet. You're very annoying. How's everybody doing? Had one kid I went to school with had 2 extra teeth behind his nose. He had surgery to get them removed, and he brought it to show and tell. Yo, my sister had extra teeth too. She had a fang, one of those canine fangs, growing right down the middle of her right in between her big teeth, right here. And her teeth would have grew out all fucked up, yo, if they didn't have X-ray to see that she had a fang. My sister had a fang coming down the middle, like a fucking vampire, yo. She got him pulled and she had braces for like 10 years. My sister had braces for like 10 years because her teeth were all fucked up. Because she had extra teeth. Mutant. No, she's real pretty now. She's got a perfect smile. Better than mine. Hyperdontia. Now we're getting some viewers in here. Oh shit. I've encountered unseen things that left marks and experienced some crazy things over the years. Yeah, well, I'm going to start documenting it. I'm going to start documenting all my experiences. So I already do a daily quote. We can do a daily journal where we talk about our sleep because it happens when I sleep. So last night, so a couple days ago, I heard a fucking laugh too. I heard, ha! That's what I heard, and it fucking jolted me awake. I said, did you hear something? She said, no. I was like, oh my God, it's that fucking shit again, yo. Whatever the fuck it is, I heard, ha! And I was like, what the fuck, yo? Is my brain fucking hacked, yo? Getting scared that somebody hacked my fucking brain, yo. Fucking hang it up, yo, if that happened. God damn, there's nothing to joke around, but yeah, yo, it's pretty scary, yo. To be honest. What I'm dealing with is pretty fucking scary. Res life or city life? Both. Both. I'm from the res, but I live out here in the city. I live on territory off res. The city neighbors, yo. That used to happen more in the city or the first res. You know what? Stuff started happening at my mom's on the res. Like 10 years ago, stuff was happening to my, you know what? To my private part, yo. I thought I was being raped by a demon, yo, or succubus. Feel like I was being violated by a succubus at night, yo. That's when it first started. When it was only happening down there. Whatever it was. It felt like it was trying to steal something from me. Yeah. Trying to steal your sacred fluids. Yeah, yo, that's what it felt. That's how it first started. Now it doesn't even fuck with that. It's in my ear now. And I can hear stuff. But it started out with that, yo. It started out like that. It started out down there. And it would, to be honest, it's kind of embarrassing to talk about, yo. What would happen, like, this is years ago. It would feel like stuff, there a demon's trying to take my fucking fluid from me. That's the best way to explain it. It would feel like that. And I'd jolt awake like, what the fuck? Yo. Like, it was like that much of a problem. It kept jolting me awake. Aliens, yeah, I was thinking it's alien. I still think it's aliens, yo. I still think it's aliens. My girl doesn't think it's aliens. She thinks she knows what it is. I don't know if I agree with that. But there's stuff going on. You ever try to rub an egg on your body? It's supposed to take away bad energy. Yeah, yo, my friend from Yemen told me to crack an egg on my head. He told me to crack an egg on my head, yo. The bad ones, the grays. She had dreams about, fuck. Yo, you know what's crazy? We got visited, yo. Me, her, and my sister all in one night. We all had dreams of little people in one night, yo. Talk about weird, yo. My sister called me crying in the middle of the night. Living too close to the falls, yo. Do you have IG? No. I mean, yeah, my old Instagrams, but not like any of the content that I talk about. It's just pictures of tattoos. So if you like to look at tattoos from like 10 years ago, go ahead. The falls carries a lot of energy more than most water. It's a thunder being's house. That's what Niagara Falls is. Do they? Humpbacks. You should be a consultant on ancient aliens. That would be fucking dope. That would be dope. And you know what? Like, with the path that I'm going down, you're gonna have haters. Anybody that goes down this path, you're gonna have haters, especially from your own res. I'm dealing with that. You would think that, oh, everybody loves me. No. I got fucking haters. A lot of fucking haters. Especially my own people, yo. You think your own people would be happy for you after you change your life and you're fucking awesome. No, I'm just kidding. But, right? You think your people would be happy for you. No. People like you when you're down and out because they're better than you. Once you start getting better, you're going to get haters because you're becoming better than them. That's when they don't like you. They liked you when you were down and out and nobody liked you. That's how they liked you. They don't like you when you're up here, though. That's what I'm dealing with. Yeah, I got you. There you go. There you go. I got you. Hold on. No problem. Instead of aliens, colonizers, the unconscious mindset is a control. A prophet is not welcomed in his own country. I'm not a prophet.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
We should do something together, man. We should make some money together.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I don't. What do you got for what's your night? What do you got? Tell me.
I don't know yet. Well, I've got a couple businesses, but I think that
It's all right, bro. You want to make some money off a native? I'm good, bro. I'm good on all that, bro. I'm good. Yo, we should make some money together. I think I'll make some money. I think you should go try to make some money for you, and I'll make some money for me. Right? I think we should make some money together. Yeah, that sounds suspect. Yeah, it was like, what? Make some money together? What the fuck? Let's make some money together, yo. Make some money for me. There you go. Yeah, just let me use you. Just let me use you, bro. Unblocked me on fucking Facebook. God damn, yo, we're blocked on Facebook. Y'all need to stop the Bible in the last days. Everything will be revealed. Yes, you guys are fake. We're seeing that you guys are fake, frauds. You're not really who you say you are. You guys act like these tough gangsters, but really you can't even get revenge for your ancestors. So, yeah, all is being revealed. We're seeing your true colors right now. You guys are ashamed of yourselves and wish you were us. So, yes, all is being revealed. You are absolutely right. And these are the end times. We still got another 70 years, yo. escrow. What does escrow mean? Exceptions. What? Ineligible. Limited. Oh, okay. Excuse me. Why, Julia, why people say the wishing well is not an invention? Why they say that? The wishing well is not an invention? Somebody had to come up with the idea, right? So, but it's kind of like a universal idea, probably. Like the birthday cake, nobody's gonna be able to say, oh, well, Native Americans invented the happy birthday cake. You know, it's kind of like everybody does that, you know? But probably started somewhere. So I don't know. I don't know about that, but who's saying that? Who's saying that? Oh, here's the video.
You, just you, building your app on base 44. Describe it. And it's real. One thought leads to more thoughts.
A history of being a good tattoo artist and just learning the truth. I think the first substance I used was marijuana. And I was about 12 years old. It didn't really get bad, and I didn't really do any hardcore street drugs until I was really about like 16. My mom would find stuff underneath my bed, or in my closet, hidden, and I'd come home from school and I'd see my uncle in the driveway, and I knew that wasn't a good thing. So
yeah, this was recorded at the council chambers.
That, you know, I was at the bingo hall. My mom was working there.
You saw that? Yeah, well, that's my video. It's on YouTube, guys, if you guys want to watch it. I'm not going to play it here, just so we can get more views on it. But yeah, I hope it helps someone. Hope my video is able to help someone. I'm grateful enough for them to send it to me. Grateful enough for them to send me this, or with all the information on it. Now I got a flash drive too, so I can work on my book. I'm a Native American. I'm Seneca. You're a Native American. Everybody born in America is a Native American. Calling American Indian or Indigenous person a Native American undermines the title, because white people came up with the title Native American. It was the Irish people, or the Native Americans, the native born. So settlers and pilgrims came here, had kids here, and their kids grew up and called themselves pilgrims or Native Americans. So that's not really our title. You're a Native American. I'm an Indigenous American. There's a difference. Here, I'll play the short one for you guys.
It didn't happen overnight, and it took several tries. Like the first time, stayed completely abstinent. That didn't work because I ended up relapsing like 8 months in on everything. These drugs are people call the mind changers. Somebody will only quit when they really want to, when they're ready. And that's what it took for me to get clean and sober, was to finally go through it all, go through the fire.
To go through the fire. That's what's up, yo. I've been through the fire, and I have been burned.
Smart founders know something most people miss.
And I've been burned bad. Very badly. Now I share my story, on how not to get burned. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, don't get burned like me, y'all. Don't get burned like me. I got burned real bad from the fire, y'all. And that's what they said. I cover my tattoos. I got tattoos to cover my fire burns, y'all. Cover that darkness. Thank you for the follow. That's what's up, bro. Or thank you for the gift.
Sumerian tablets are probably one of the oldest form of written record that we have.
A clay tablet over 4,000 years old.
We've been taught to see the history of the Americas.
Imagine a world where the Sumerians, known as one of the earliest civilizations, set sail across the Atlantic Ocean around 3000 BC. After months of navigation, they land on the shores of America, bringing their advanced agricultural techniques and cuneiform.
That's what I'm talking about. They brought their advanced cuneiform tech or gardening and planting farming techniques from the Middle East. Yeah, nah. They weren't teaching us how to plant corn, beans, and squash, and tobacco, and strawberries, and pumpkins, and potatoes, and tomatoes. They weren't doing that. All those plants are indigenous here. They grow here. We had to teach them how to grow that, not the other way around. Stop giving natives credit, or stop trying to take credit away from natives.
Form writing to the continent, settling in lush river valleys.
Now the writing, on the other hand, has there been cuneiform found in the Americas? Yeah. But who's to say that came from over there? How do you know it didn't come from over here?
They form thriving cities, influencing local tribes and fostering trade routes. Their innovations in mathematics and governance lay the groundwork for a new...
Mathematics came from us. We were the ones that invented the concept of zero.
new societal structure that blends with indigenous cultures. Fast forward to today, America boasts a rich tapestry of Sumerian and Native American traditions, leading to entirely different technological and cultural advancements than in our reality.
A little bit of a reach, but...
I just created simple product videos for all these different products using Veo, Nano Banana, and Airtable. No API keys to connect. All the models
you
are built
can't
right in.
Discover something where there's people already at.
The Joe Rogan experience.
Like, imagine if I went to fucking Europe and I put our flag in the ground. I declare this land Haudenosaunee land because I discovered it. And there's people in civilization already around. You know?
Do you have anything in this book about the Olmecs?
No, not really. I mentioned them briefly. I explored the Olmec mystery in considerable depth.
Can you explain that to people that maybe
in Fingerprints of the Gods? Yes. So it's considered to be the earliest high culture of Central America. Everybody's heard about the Aztecs. Everybody's heard about the Maya. But before the Aztecs and before the Maya, there were a culture who are referred to as the
Aztecs, Olmecs, Purepechas, Tolteca, Zapoteca. Yeah, lots of techs.
The Olmecs. Again, we don't know what they called themselves. That's what the Aztecs called them. They called them the Olmecs, and it means the rubber people because that rubber producing area of
Aztecs, Texas. Aztecs. Oh shit! So Aztecs say they came from Aztlan, which is Atlantis. Aztlan, Texas, Aztec, and Atlantis. Texas. There you go. No, that's reach.
Of Mexico. They worked in giant megalithic constructions. What they're most famous for is these huge carved human heads, which can be on a scale of up to 20.
Texlantis. That's a good one. Texlantis. There you go.
To 25 tons in weight, and which have curious.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That is not a negroid face. Look at the eyes. Your guys' eyes are not Asiatic or are upturned like that. Their eyes are not upturned like that. Their eyes are actually the other way. And to be honest, we already seen what these guys look like. They look Asian, somewhat.
Features which have been interpreted variously as Polynesian, African.
You'll take my cat. A lot of people want to take my cat, but here's the thing. I mean, you guys can. Let me go see. Check with Big Mama first.
Don't look like classic Native American features. But one of the things I've realized is that there is no classic Native American feature. That Native Americans are have a very complex genetic story with very many different elements brought into it, and we shouldn't be necessarily surprised by the supposedly non-Native American look of these Olmec heads.
What do we think those helmets were that they were wearing?
Nobody knows,
bro,
because no
guardians. I know we're not getting rid of her.
Physical example of such a helmet has ever been found, just like no physical example of an Egyptian pharaoh's crown has ever been found. All we see is the stone reproductions of them.
Do they universally wear these helmets?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that fucking face, yo. Look at that fucking face, yo. Look at the symbols on it. Look at the symbols on his helmet. It looks like fucking those symbols from the coastal tribes, yo. That's what it reminds me of.
They pretty much all wear these helmets in the Olmec stonework. There's another fascinating figure from La Venta, one of the Olmec sites, which is the earliest ever image of a plumed or feathered serpent. The feathered serpent is a famous icon in Central America. Quetzalcoatl, who's the god of peace, the bringer of civilization, who is associated, for example, with the famous pyramid of Kukulkan, which is just...
Sky Panther. So Haudenosaunee have Kukulkan in their creation story. Guys, did you know that? We have Kukulkan in our creation story. You're going to look up Iroquois Sky Panther. That's what you guys are going to look up. You're going to look up the Iroquois Sky Panther. Okay, let's see. Sky Woman, Journal. Is it in here? The geology. And look at this. So these are your winds, your wind gods too. Look, the Goji, the Ganawida, they got two river currents flowing together. Yo, so see, that's what his name means. So you know how I said the Ganawida had 2 rows of teeth? Well, here it says 2 rivers flowing together. That's what his name means. Daganawida. De is what makes it two. There's gotta be connection to Latin. Yo. Look, because de means double. Did you know that? It also can turn it into an opposite. So, let's say Gnoits. I like it. Gnoits. To say I don't like it, you say de Gnoits. So de can either turn it into a double, which is dual, or a negative, which is an opposite. Do you understand? So, Deganawida is two flowing rivers, and the way I was told is it means he had two rows of teeth, actually. Now, we'll get back to the Sky Panther. We'll come back to that, all right? So check this out. You're going to go to Ancient Origins and you're going to look at these maps, right? You're going to go all the way down here. Or, no. Maybe it's this one. Okay, gun. Did you see that video Nardi made on the Iroquois? He said it's a word from the Basque language. Iroquois? But you know what makes sense? Because Iroquois, they say, is Huron for Iroquois or whatever. I've heard it had different names, like Iroquois, what else? I heard it meant like stone-like people, and that makes sense because we're like brick lane Native Americans, yo. We adopted a lot of those Susquehanna into the Oneida. So Oneida they're a pretty big tribe, but you know what? We got Oneidas way in Wisconsin now too. So you got Haudenosaunee all over Northeast. Okay. Hey! So check this out. So you know how I said Daganawida, two flowing rivers, and he had two rows of teeth? So all the yellow squares are where they found people with two rows of teeth. This is giant DNA. All of these are giant remains found in the United States. So the ones with the yellow box is where they found double rows of teeth. Now look in New York. There's a lot over here too, I've noticed. But there's a lot over here in the Northeast. All Haudenosaunee territory, especially in the thick of it. Right? So look at Ontario. See those two? That's the area Daganawida was from. Huron territory, actually. And see the horns? You got people with horns. That's little people. The little orange one. But two flowing rivers, two rows of teeth. This is the same area. And then you got New York Giants. So also Hiawatha and Tadadaho were cannibals. They were cannibals in almost every single version out there. They talk about Hiawatha and Tadadaho being known cannibals. Daganawida having two rows of teeth. New York Giants is where your Empire State comes from, is my people. But I pieced it together, yo. And then at the conference, they talked about Samantha Dockstader said we're from Pleiades. It's pretty sweet, but they talked about a lot of things, yo. So let me see. Let me get my mind right, yo. Let me get my mind right so I can Quetzalcoatl. There we go. Sky Panther. We're gonna get back to it. So Daganawida, two flowing rivers, two rows of teeth. He had a speech impediment. Okay, so this is where Hiawatha comes in. Hiawatha, his name means to rise his words up. That's what his name means. So See how our language is like poetry? Daganoweda had 2 rows of teeth, but his name means 2 flowing rivers. And it seems that he had a speech impediment because of his 2 rows of teeth. He had a speech impediment. And Hiawatha was the only one that could understand him. So he would rise his words up. He would speak for him. So that's like how our language is like poetic, because it almost seems that like 2 flowing rivers, right? And because his speech impediment, his 2 rows of teeth gave him that speech impediment, it seems like the 2 flowing rivers fits perfect with that, because you got 2 flowing rivers, it's kind of hard to talk, because you got 2 of them. And then Hiawatha, he rises his words up. He was basically his translator. Probably maybe because Hiawatha spoke Huron too. But they say Daganoweda was born from a virgin birth too, even. A virgin birth with double rows of teeth. They even talk about some of our people having snakes in their hair, yo. And then even the twin. So I asked my people, I'm going to start asking my people more questions, yo. That's one thing we need to work on, that we need to stop asking our people for permission. Stop asking your people for permission, yo, and kind of just lead, yo. Try to not lead, but ask questions. Get out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to go talk to people that you probably wouldn't really talk to, in an everyday situation. If you really want to learn, some people aren't going to just go out there and teach either. Some people, you got to go to them and ask them questions. So right now I'm going to be asking a lot more questions. So I did ask my people if there's a guy. I posted a picture of him. He's like this blonde looking dude. He had Iroquois tattoos, a mohawk, and all that. He's singing with a water drum with his baby. I said, is this what the left-handed twin looked like? Or the bad mind looked like? Aryan, blonde hair, blue eyes. Because they say that's what he looked like. He had blonde hair and blue eyes, but in the version that I've been listening to lately, I listen to all my people's versions. I try to hear every single version out there. And even people's own versions or interpretations of it. I have my own interpretation of the creation story, and there's a version out there that I'm listening to that I like, actually, because it makes a lot of sense. Is that the bad-minded twin? They say he cut his way out of his mom because and we wear a mohawk to signify that him, because they said he had a spike of flint on top of his head. Now, if you look at like the way they depict reptilians, yo, yeah, they got a spike on their fucking head, yo, like a fish. And they say that's what cut his way out of his mom, because he had fucking flint all over his body. But I also heard that he was Aryan looking, blonde hair, blue eyed. I've heard where he had one blue eye, where he had just blue eyes all together, blonde hair, pale skin. I heard that he was deformed and had bumps all over him and all that, but now it makes sense. What it wasn't bumps, it was flint. He was still deformed and had some type of birth defect though, and he had flint all over his body, yo, and he cut his way out, killed his mother during childbirth. Yeah, yo, I didn't go the 3 days. I went the first 2. And I still learned a lot. They had it today, but I just couldn't make it today. Hiawatha, it says here he makes rivers. I don't remember that one. Well, let's see. He who makes rivers, he who combs. Yeah, see, is often interpreted as he who combs, or he symbolizing the flow and unity amongst the. Yeah, that's not what I heard. I heard his name meant it rises his words up. He who causes flow, he who clears the river. Okay, that makes sense too. He who clears the river and two flowing rivers, right? The Ganawida, the speech impediment, the double rows of teeth, he couldn't talk, but Hiawatha understood him. That makes sense to me too. He who clears the river, like he who causes flow. He's causing flow. He's creating an understanding for people. Or he who clears the river, he's making it clear for people to understand. That totally makes sense. But I forgot where I heard. You know who I heard that from? That his name meant he rises his words up. I heard that from Dega Lunagay on a video on YouTube. Paul something on YouTube though. That's where I heard that from. We'll have to look for it on another day. I think it was during a great law recitation or something. De la Runda. Yeah, whatever. However you say his name. It's known as temporal tech. Babe, have you heard of temporal tech? Well, check that out. TEMPORAL. But, bro, the virtual dimensional tech. Yeah, dude, something's happening to me where I'm being touched. I heard a fucking laugh the other night. Yo, it only happens when I'm sleeping, though. I think it might be happening while I'm awake, and maybe I just don't notice it. But when I'm laying down and I'm still, yeah, I can fucking hear, like, someone's, like, rubbing against a microphone. That's what it sounds like in my ear, and I wake up to it, and it stops. And then you can hear it slowly, like, drifting off, like it's a frequency, like a radio frequency. Maybe I'm tapping into something. A part of me believes that, like, my body is glitching, as we're getting older. I just feel like maybe it's not like something extreme like that, like I'm being fucked with electronically or being harassed by like electronics somehow, or like through the Wi-Fi or something. So I might think it might be spiritual, and my body is glitching. My body's glitching. Maybe it's my ancestors trying to get a hold of me. But yeah, sometimes I feel like it's that, that my body's just glitching and I don't know how to use my powers, Do you wear headphones a lot? Never. I want to get earplugs. Oh, I was gonna go to the store tonight and go get some that you can put in your ear and go to sleep. See if that changes anything. If you feel sad before it happened, it's a gift. High blood pressure? No, I used to think that it was just like nerves or something, but no, this is not nerves. Something is definitely like poking me and touching me in my sleep, and I don't know what it is. It's going like this, poking my eyes. I can even feel it, like it'll turn one of my teeth numb. That's when I think my body's glitching. It does random stuff to me, randomly, all over. And I can hear shit. It's not bruised. It doesn't leave any marks on me or anything, but it's just like something is not right, There's definitely something going on with me. Something paranormal. Feds. Yes, that's the only thing that really makes sense. But whatever. Even smudge. I've smudged the place and it still happens. So maybe it is the ancestors. V2K. Yeah, that's what this guy's saying. It could be V2K. That's what she says. Yes. That's what she thinks it is. She says she knows it is, but I do sometimes, but I just would hope it's not, that sounds pretty fucking bad, if it's V2K, that means they probably won't stop. Occult world. Iroquois mythology. Why is this on this website? Occult world. You have anoint your chakra points on your body. The fairy kingdom really loose. Okay. Yeah, well, whatever it is, it's been fucking with me for years, yo. And I want to start documenting it. So, because it's getting worse. And I don't want it to get to the point where I just sound crazy, you know? So, I want to have years of talking about this, to be honest, because it's something that's actually happening. Because it's been years already. It's been years, and now it's getting to the point where I can hear it. It's touching me. Hasn't left any marks, but I can definitely feel that I'm being touched by something invisible that I can't see. Don't laugh, but have you tried a tinfoil hat? Yeah, I have. Here. These were working for a bit, actually. It's placebo effect, though. They were working for a little bit. These are fucking, what's it called? EMF deflectors, or whatever, yo. These were EMF deflectors, and I put a bunch in my bed. I put one in my underwear. I laid on a bunch. I even had some sticking on my back, yo, and it was working. In my head it was, and then I cut one open, and I realized it's just a sticker. So maybe does work, but it looks like just a sticker. There's nothing inside of there. I cut it open to look at it because it really was working. But yeah, tinfoil hat, yeah. Been there, done that. I don't want to be a faith keeper. Not at the Newtown Longhouse. Not right now, at least, because they wouldn't pick someone like me anyway. They don't pick people like me. They pick people that, you know, who they want. I'm not somebody that they want. I don't, you know, there's better options than me. Just because I'm not trying to do all that. Plus, people down there I feel like don't like me, so. And then I don't go enough. I don't go enough to be that. So, once I start going, once I get a car, yeah, I'll be at every ceremony, and then maybe, for sure. But right now I can't. No. They push someone who will only push Handsome Lake. Yeah, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with Handsome Lake. I like Handsome Lake. He's my relative, you know, and I understand what happened. It was a man going through detox withdrawals, and he might have had been borderline schizophrenic, and he had hallucinations. Those were his visions, and he got radicalized with Christianity after his corn planter's son taught it to him while he was recovering from alcoholism. So that's kind of what happened. And he got clean and sober, and he wanted to change the world. That happens to the best of us, yo. He was, and the reason why they say he might have been borderline schizophrenic is because he used to talk to vegetables. Said the squash told him that, or the beans and corn, bean, squash were talking to him, told him that we need to have ceremony for them and all that. That's not say, oh, schizophrenic. It's just nowadays they would say it's someone that's schizophrenic, you know, if they're saying the vegetables are talking to them. It was just a different time to be alive too, you know. So I understand what happened. You don't have to go to Longhouse to have the gift, brother. Yeah, I know that. And not everybody goes to Longhouse. Some of the most tradish people I know don't go to Longhouse. They're not at every fucking ceremony. They don't know every fucking song. You know? You got your singers, and they know every song. You got your dancers, and they're the best dancers. You got your drum makers, and they're the best drum makers. You got your speakers, and they're the best speakers. You can't be good at everything. And if you were, that's how you start to get haters. You gotta be sucky at some things. That's how it feels. You gotta be bad at something. So if you're too good, yeah, you'll start to get hated on. That's what I've noticed. You don't want to be too good. You don't want to be too good at stuff, because that's what changed me, is getting that, a blanket changed my life, yo. I don't even want to be an asshole no more. It makes me want to be humble all the time. Really. That blanket makes me want to be humble. It means a lot, yo, because like I know what it means, yo. What comes with the blanket, you know. It's not just the gift, it's like the meaning behind it. It's the symbolism behind it. That's like an honor, yo. To get a blanket from your tribe, yo. That's a fucking honor, yo. It's one of the greatest things I'll probably ever do, to be honest. Some people are even away from the tribe. Hey! Please! Yep, like I said, faith keeper mode. Yeah, nah. I wish, bro, but I don't go enough, you know? And I don't know enough. There's ceremonies I haven't been to. You can't make someone faith keeper that doesn't know all the ceremonies. I don't know all the ceremonies. I want to. I've asked around, but even then our own people gatekeep a little bit too much. So that's another thing that I'd like to see change. The reason why our shit's going extinct is because our language is because people gatekeep it. And what it's going to look like in the future when people look back is what's going to look like is they're going to say, yeah, it went extinct here and there because people in those communities gatekept it from the people that were trying to learn. The ones that were gatekeeping the language and the ceremonies gatekept it till extinction because they wanted to remain in power. They don't want other people to learn. They don't want other people to know and other people to get a shot. That's what it's going to look like. And it's not just happening here. It's happening all over. Certain families will gatekeep certain things and certain knowledge and all that, and they'll be the only ones that's more control and more power. And if you got a lodge or a longhouse or whatever, yeah, I'm sure you guys got your own internal issues. And this is what I mean. It's like church, yo. And it's not supposed to be like that. Our ceremonies got colonized. Our ceremonies got colonized. From what I've studied and what I've read, our ceremonies, everybody participated in. Now, people call it a cult. Say it's kind of culty. Now, only select few are involved. Back then, everybody participated. Everybody had a coming of age ceremony. Everybody had a naming ceremony. Everybody participated. Now, you're lucky if 5% participate, 10%. The vast majority does not participate. Only select few families do. And that's the way it looks. Like, yeah, everybody has been there once in their life, at least, you know? So they say. But it doesn't look like that when you go. When you go, it looks like it's the same. It looks like it's just your family. It's just the same people. They say that we got 17 reservations. And it's probably about a longhouse per reservation. 17 longhouses. Let's see. Let's see if that even pops up. How many longhouses practice Gaiweo? Gaiweo had about 5,000 practicing members. In 1969. 5,000. That's like one big family. And you know what? I wonder So Skanyandayo, or Handsome Lake, that name is a name in the longhouse, yo. Look. Right here. Oh, you can't see it. But they got Hiawatha over here too. Right there. Skanyandayo is right here. Skanyandayo. But yeah, yo. Oh, did you guys see this? Yo, this is what Samantha Dockstader showed us. Yo, you see it inside of it? You see it inside of it, though? Come on. Don't you see it? Don't you see it? You see the lines? It's inside of it, yo. Yeah, yo, come on. I learned that from Samantha Dockstader. Let's see. Let's see if she's on here. Man, I wonder if she would come on my thing and come talk.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our traditional knowledge webinar about Indigenous astronomy. I'm Elizabeth, one of your hosts for today, and I'm honored to bring you this inspiring conversation. We are so honored to have our speaker with us today, but before we begin, a quick note. We encourage you to engage by submitting your questions in the chat or in the Q&A section. We'll try to get to as many as possible during this discussion. Now, before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. As I said, I'm Elizabeth Johnson, the Native Initiatives Manager. People had so many Indigenous astronomy. And Sash took her research and her knowledge to our leadership before she took it back to the universe. My sister's favorite quote.
So we have calcium in our bones, iron in our veins, carbon in our souls, and nitrogen in our brains. 93% stardust with souls made of flames. Hey, thank you. We are just all stars that have people names.
We have calcium in our bones, iron in our veins, carbon in our souls, and nitrogen in our brains. 93% stardust with souls made of flames. We are all just stars that have people names. And if anybody has questions or anything, we can save those for the end. And so even scientifically, when a star passes away and turns into dust, the iron that's in the dust from a star that has passed away is the actual iron that makes our blood red. So even scientifically...
Yo, will somebody send this to D, my uncle?
We are stars, and stars are us. This is a condition me and my sister had our whole entire lives, and I never knew there was a name for it. It's called nova lunosis, the state of relaxation and wonderment experienced while gazing upon the stars. And I think a lot of us have this feeling because we have that connection to the stars. But because we are stars and stars are us, when we're staring at the stars, they're actually looking back at us. And they're saying, oh, my little earth beings, I'm so proud of you and all the work that you're doing. So that's a reciprocal wonderment. They're looking at us the same way that we look at them. And the stars are actually out 24 hours a day. We just can't see them during the day because the sun is so bright.
Thank you.
This is one of the photos, one of the first photos ever taken of a dying star. This is the photo that pushed me to continue this work. This is the photo that showed me how beautiful death can be. So a year after my sister passed away, she would come into my dreams and tell me to buy books about stars. So
You said in your stories we were kicked out of Skyworld. Yeah, yo, this girl straight up said that we're from Pleiades. Isn't that sweet?
knew she was pushing me to do this work. So one day I woke up and I said, okay, I'm going to continue your work and your research. And I opened up her computer and her PowerPoint presentation was already there. So this is her presentation. I've just been adding to it for the past 3 years. And once I accepted that gift to continue her work, it was like I just got downloaded
Her
with
sister
all of
passed away
this
from cancer
information, and
too.
I could make all these connections, and I had all these theories.
And her
So
this
the
was her sister's
presentation,
studies. Her sister was doing all this. She went to college for it to learn it, and she studied it, and she's writing a book on it. And this was her sister's presentation, but she died from cancer, so she picked up where she left off.
it's real precious to me because of that. And this journey, it begins in our creation story.
There's the Sky Panther. To me, that's Quetzalcoatl, yo. Like, we still kept him, but the name changed right here. See it? That's the Sky Panther right there. It's like a flying cat, yo. That sounds like a dragon to me, to be honest.
And we have many versions of our creation story, and they're all important, and they're all valid. And I
And
feel
this
like
was painted in 1936. Let me say that again. This was painted in 1936. Did you hear me? Our people, we were ahead of our time. Our people are ahead of their time, yo.
we share the one that we feel most connected to. So there's a place above, we call it Sky World. And there's a person, we call her Sky Woman. And they say that everybody in Sky World knew that Sky Woman had a gift. And that one day she was going to go on to do these big things. But she had to be carrying life within her. So as Sky Woman got old enough, she found a partner. She became married. She got pregnant. And when she was pregnant, she craved the roots of this celestial tree. On this tree grew many different things, many fruits and everything, all the
Is this the book
nutrition
you were
that you
talking
needed.
about? No.
And
this is the presentation that I was talking to you about. I learned a lot from this girl at this weekend. And this is my first time watching. This looks like exactly what she was talking about this weekend. Like word for word, slide for slide. It might even be the same presentation.
she craved the roots of that tree so much that that tree became weak and it fell over and it exposed the dark hole. Every version of our creation story has a dark hole. This is a photo of a dark hole scientifically.
Yeah, so she was talking about how Albert Einstein was from New Jersey, right? Or lived in New Jersey. And we knew about dark holes or black holes before anybody. Like I was saying earlier, how Haudenosaunee culture and knowledge is the foundation to modern day science. All their scientific theories come from our creation stories and our legends and our culture. So this dark hole or this black hole, Albert Einstein was the one that like invented it or discovered it. But basically, he just learned it from our Haudenosaunee stories. He's located in New Jersey. He had to have heard one of our stories. Around the time he was alive was when he's German, and they are fascinated with Native Americans. Out of all the Hanyos around, Germans are the most obsessed with Native American culture and history. They even have a little parade in Germany where they all dress up like Indians. Swear to God. So he was fascinated with Native culture, and he learned about the black hole or dark hole from Native American creation stories of Sky Woman falling through a black hole in the sky. They took our stories and tried to deny us. Yeah, so this is one of the only black holes in our star system. There's only 2 in our star system, and it's in the Milky Way. And the Milky Way is we call it the Great Sky Road. We call the Milky Way the Great Sky Road, and that's the trail from us and our ancestors. We take that trail to the sky world. And it's basically a map of how to get to heaven. Yeah, yo. It's basically a star map. And this is one of the black holes that Sky Woman may have fell out of.
It's called a black hole. And there's only been 2 photos ever captured with this much definition of a black hole. Scientists are still trying to figure out exactly what black holes are, but some say that they're the heart and the lungs of the galaxy. So when I seen this photo, it caught my eye because of its location. So they named this one Sagittarius A star. And Sagittarius A star is located along the Milky Way. In our teachings, the Milky Way is our pathway from sky world to earth world. And so when I seen this photo, I thought, what if that's an actual photo of the dark hole that's always been mentioned in our creation story? Because you see those 3 lighter areas, the number 3, it's real important in a lot of our understandings, because when the Creator first made people, he blew 3 breaths of life into us. So you'll see the number 3, it'll pop up in a lot of our understandings. But what else this looks like is an umbilical cord. And so an umbilical cord has 3 sections. One provides oxygen, one provides nutrients, and one gets rid of waste. And so even though these 2 things are not even close to comparable in size, that's a super massive black hole.
Yeah, yo, that's not the only thing that matches it. If you've seen the green screen, the condolence, or the all the chiefs, that matches the Helix Nebula. Maybe she'll talk about it in this one, but the mitochondrial powerhouse for the Eve gene matches our cradle board. Hold on, let me show you guys. I don't have it. Never mind.
I can't even explain on how large it is. And an umbilical cord is just a small cord, but that umbilical cord is what keeps us nourished inside of our mother's wombs when we're making that journey across the stars. So these 2 elements are not comparable in size, but they could have a lot of the same responsibilities when we journey across the Milky Way. So they also say that in Skyworld, when
Mormons think the Senecas are Judah. Really? Send me what you got on that.
they looked in that dark hole, there was a tunnel. We also even have the grid lines in some of our creation stories. So this is a picture of a wormhole scientifically. And it's based on Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity and the ability to travel through the universe through these tunnels at speeds of light. So I'm pretty sure Albert Einstein has some Haudenosaunee influence in his theory. Because
that's what she was talking about at the thing, because he's German too. They're obsessed with Native Americans.
This theory is only 120 years old. And that's part of our...
Yeah, so the wormhole, dark hole, black hole, whatever, right? Theory is only 130 years old. We have that story in our creation story that is thousands of years old. We knew about black holes and wormholes and stargates and portals before everybody, because Sky Woman came here through a portal. She came here through a hole in the sky, in outer space. Einstein's bridge, yeah, and we have. This is what I learned. This is what I learned this weekend from this lady named Samantha Dockstader. She learned it from her sister.
Creation story. Albert Einstein, he also lived in New Jersey.
This is an Oneida
which
lady.
Is pretty close to...
This is Haudenosaunee star knowledge. Just so you guys know, I'm putting you guys on a game right now.
Haudenosaunee homelands in New York. Albert Einstein was also German. And German people, they love indigenous knowledge. So we've already had this knowing, and because it's always been part of our creation story. So as Sky Woman makes that journey, and she crosses through that threshold as she travels as energy and then turns into physical form.
Yo, and then I heard from versions out west that they made a rope, and that they went back into Skyworld, yo. Haudenosaunee were experts in astrology. Yes, we invented the telescope. The star pointer, actually.
So that's called an event horizon when she comes through Earth's atmosphere. And she begins to fall to what we now call Earth world, what was once water world.
No,
Earth
there's
is
only
still
9 people in there,
technically
bro.
kind of a water world because it's still 70% water. So Sky Woman begins to fall, and the water birds, they seen her falling, and they said, "What is that? I don't think she has wings. I don't think she can fly. We better catch her." So the water birds, they formed a bed and they let Sky Woman land on them. And then the turtle said, "You can lay her on my back." So the water birds, they lowered Sky Woman down to the back of the turtle, and she brought things with her from Sky World. She brought Argenhequa, the corn, beans, and squash. She also brought
When the French missionaries came around, they thought the peacemaker was still around and wanted to meet him.
wild strawberries, sacred tobacco, and wild potatoes. And so she needed some soil to plant those things so she could communicate with the water animals. There was a otter and a beaver and a muskrat, and they said, "What do you need? What can we do to help you?" She said, "I need some soil." So they all dove down looking for soil, and the only one that was successful was little Anogi, the muskrat. And they say he didn't survive the journey, but he floated to the top with a handful of dirt. So Sky Woman takes that dirt and she places it on the back of the turtle, and she dances a shuffle dance in a counterclockwise motion. And she sang seed songs that we still sing today. So that's how she started to plant and grow the
Seed songs. Oh, old-fashioned women's, old-fashioned ladies. It's a plagiarism. What is a plagiarism? Plant life and animals decomposing is what made of the eternal flame. Yeah, carbon. Oh, the Adam and Eve story? Oh, from our Haudenosaunee creation story? Yeah. You can hear the story of Adam and Eve in our story. When they say the 2 beings in this paradise with the tree of life being the center, or tree of lights being the center of their universe, something happened to this tree and one of the beings left this paradise. Yeah. That's Adam and Eve right there. So you can hear our story, you can hear Sumerian, you can hear every culture in the whole world in our creation story. Every single culture. Every single culture from all 4 corners of the world you can hear in the Haudenosaunee creation story. Limitless. It's an intelligent movie. That sounds familiar. It's about like people that got superpowers and all that. It's like a pill they take or something.
first things on Earth of what we call land mass today. So these lands, they eventually grew larger and larger, and then they separated into different continents. But where we stayed in our original homelands of North America,
Oh, man. Look at that. This is where the most varieties of different turtles are from, too. They got the most different kinds of turtles here.
it's still in the shape of a turtle. North America also has the highest number of varieties of turtles than anywhere else in the world.
See, I was listening.
And to this day,
I was fucking listening this weekend pretty well.
turtles can still sustain life on their backs. Turtles are also the longest living land animal, and they can hold all that knowledge and they take it everywhere with them because their filing cap.
Yeah, the only animal that can sustain life on its back like that, yo. Yo, that's awesome.
Is right on their back. So they hold lots of knowledge for things. This is modern day science catching up to indigenous science once again.
Indigenous science. Yes, indigenous science is the foundation of modern day science. This is what we've been saying. So we've been right about everything now. Native Americans knew that the continents used to be one. Turtle Island. Native Americans knew that the whole Earth was once covered with water and it was just a water planet. It was, what we say is it was water and sky. You understand? So water and sky, that's what they say it was. And science caught up in like 2024, right? They discovered algae, a certain type of ocean water algae at the top of Mount Everest, at the very tippy top. That can only happen if that part was underwater. So it proves that billions or millions of years ago, the whole planet was covered with water. And we were right about that. Not only that, when it was dominated by just water animals, giant fucking turtles, we were right about that. The plants being feminine, 3 sisters, we were right about that. Right? The Earth being a living, breathing organism. In the 1980s, National Geographic put it on the front page, agreeing with that. Saying, yes, the Earth is a living, breathing organism. We've been known that. That's our mother.
Modern day science, Eurocentric science, it's not even 500 years old.
It's not.
Before that, it's referred to as the pre-scientific era. But that's not pre-scientific for indigenous people. And so with all the technology, they're slowly catching up. But it's also helping us because it's giving us a new context to explain the things we've always known. So this new knowledge that Earth was once entirely a water world, this new research, this just came out this year in 2025. And it's because they found marine algae on the highest peak on Earth, on Mount Everest. So if the highest peak on Earth it had to have been once submerged underwater to find that marine algae. But this is something that we've always known. And so Skywalker.
Hold on. I want to know these new researchers. Our stories go back to before Pangea. Explain how someone was alive to pass those stories on. Yeah, I know. Dude, you can, so what's crazy? So my research is different from a lot of other people's. Yo, hey, D, we're watching Samantha Doxtator's thing, yo. But my studies and my research is different from everybody's. Her thing is the star knowledge. My thing, I do like religion. I focus on like the ancient cultures. Yeah, yo, we've been watching it. It's pretty good. And I found the whole presentation online, so we're watching it together. My stuff is like, what I've noticed is the ancient cultures from the other side of the world were practicing our beliefs before they adopted Christianity and 3 Abrahamic beliefs. Because our teachings, life started here and people walked out of the Americas. Asians are just Native Americans that migrated out. Black people descend from Asians and white people are the newest. All of them, they used to practice, or the ancient belief, the ancient knowledges all mixed together. They call that Gnosticism. Our teachings from this side of the world, by the time they made it to that side of the world, had turned into Gnosticism. And you can hear our culture in all cultures. You can hear all the cultures in our cultures. If you listen to our creation story and if you know creation stories, you will hear other people's creation stories in our creation story. It's because indigenous culture is the original culture. It's the mother culture. Indigenous people have the original instructions.
Woman, she gives birth to a daughter, and her daughter grows very rapidly. When her daughter is old enough, she gets courted by the west wind. Some also say turtle man.
Turtle man, right? So the west wind is Yahweh, actually. Sky woman is Sophia. And they also say turtle man, that he was this turtle man or this thunder god even too. There's different versions out there. And the turtle one is like reptilian because they say Left Hand had a mohawk of flint that he cut his mom on while he was inside of her. That's why we wear mohawks, actually, because Flint had flint all over his body, and he had a mohawk of flint, like a reptilian or something, yo. And would be that would be this turtle man, and it makes sense. And they also say he's a thunder god or a storm god, a west wind god. It would make sense that he would be a storm god because that's what Yahweh is, the Lord, they say, from that side of the world. See what I mean? You can hear their culture and our culture.
Some also say Thunderman. And he asks Sky Woman if he can marry her daughter. And she agrees. So after the two are married, he laid 2 arrows beside her. Well, one had a flint tip and one didn't. And she became pregnant with twin boys. When the twins were born...
Yep, Thor, thunder gods.
Sungwa Dizzle, the creator, the right-handed twin, they say he was born the natural way. His brother, the left-handed twin, some also say the mischievous one, they say he had a flint tip for a hand. And when he was being born, he cut the side of his mother, and he was born that way. And she didn't survive childbirth. So she was buried into the land that was first created by her mother, Sky Woman. But her sons go on to create everything that we know. That's why we say Mother Earth. And her sons, Sungwa Dizzle, the creator, he had such a good mind. He created everything with goodness. His brother, the left-handed twin, or the mischievous one, he would come along and try to mess those things up. But really, they created balance.
So when we go into Pleiades, I don't know if she already said it yet.
And everything on Earth needs balance. Because their mom passed away at childbirth, they were raised by their grandma, Sky Woman. And when she passed away, they're kind of fighting over where to bury her. And because they were fighting over her body, it got flung into the sky. And she becomes the moon.
Yeah, yo, I heard that they grabbed her head and flung it in the sky and it got stuck, yo. So basically, it's like a giant skull.
So that's how the Earth came to be, and that's how the moon.
And then the scientific theory of how the moon actually came to be. So she died here on Earth, and they took her head and they flung it up, right? And the way her head got stuck up there, right? And the way the scientific theory says the moon came to be is that it's actually a chunk of Earth, and it came off the Earth, and it had to balance itself out, and it collected dirt and dust and all that, and it became a ball. That's how they say the moon came to be, and it lines up with our teachings that it was on Earth and it was her, and they flung it up, and it just got stuck there, and that's how the scientific theory of basically how it came to be. So you see how indigenous culture is basically the foundation to modern day science.
Came to be. And because Sky Woman becomes the moon, when Sky Woman danced in that counterclockwise motion on the back of the turtle, the moon also orbits Earth in that counterclockwise motion. That's also when we have our ceremonies or our social dances, we dance in a counterclockwise motion. And if we were to go back to our original calendar, our lunar calendar, it would have 13 months.
Let me get a picture of that.
with 28 days. And so when Sky Woman was planting all those seeds and on the back of the turtle, she was also making marks to help keep track of time. They're called scutes. So on the back of the turtle shell, there's 13.
Oh shit, yo. So did you hear what she just said? Yeah, this is our calendar. It's the natural calendar. This is the traditional calendar. So what she said is when she was going around doing escanyé on the back of the turtle, right? She's putting marks in it, yo. Dang.
Large sections. And around the outside, there's 28 smaller sections. So our original calendar has 13 months with 28 days. And scientifically, that measurement is 27.3. And because the sun and the moon are constantly moving, sometimes it takes extra time for them to line back up. So
yeah, yo, that's so cool. So as she's going around, yo, we got to do an experiment with our Haudenosaunee women. We need to do an experiment. So when our women do their shuffle dance, right? Oh yeah, she called them seed songs, yo. And what she meant by that, I think she meant like old-fashioned ladies dance, right? Old-fashioned when she called it seed songs. But anyway, we need to do an experiment with our women. We need to do it in on dust or sand so we can see the outline. Old moccasin? No, we need to see our women, they need to do escanyé on sand or dust or something so we can see the footprints from it and see if it makes a turtle. Because I guarantee you, the footprints from the women doing escanyé, or even our ceremony dance, that it bet you it makes a turtle shell. Yeah, I guarantee you. We need to do that experiment now. Right now, yo. I might just do it. Just kidding. Oh, yo, but for real, yo, that's a sweet ass experiment. We need to do that and see if it makes a turtle. Yo. So, I guarantee you it does. The footprints definitely make a fucking turtle shell.
that's why Gregorian calendar moon phases, some of the months are 29.5 days apart. But our original calendar would start on the new moon. And the new moon and the full moon, those are actually 3 days long. So that's how it balanced itself back out. And every month would start at the new moon phase. That's also the darkest phase. And the new moon phase, oops, that's a video.
Does time go fast sometimes?
So the new moon phase, that's the darkest phase. That's the best time to stargaze. That's also when you make your plans for the month and then you put your plans into place. On a full moon, that's when you let go of anything that isn't bringing you goodness. And then after the full moon, that's when you would make any adjustments. And that last quarter, that's when we would rest and recharge and reset. That's how we stayed so healthy, because we took that time to rest and
Sounds like the outside's
recharge. This is what our original calendar would look like. So this was at our local school. And so our new...
We gotta screenshot that one too.
New year begins on the new moon phase after the winter solstice, after the shortest day of the year. So that's when our new calendar would begin. So this would be the first month, the second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah,
sixth,
it's actually the
seventh,
most perfect calendar because it's got 28 days and a 13 moon cycle. It's the traditional calendar, bro.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's our original calendar. And just like Sky Woman danced in that counterclockwise motion, everything in the universe is also counterclockwise. I also read somewhere that when the Olympics first started, they went around the track in a clockwise motion. But all the athletes were getting hurt and they were like getting injured and pulling muscles. So when they changed it to counterclockwise, it was a more natural flow and people were getting less injured.
Hey.
Next, we have.
What did your people call the Milky Way? We called it the Great Sky Road.
Our older brother, the sun. So some say that he was Sky Woman's.
So Haudenosaunee people, as we're original people, we're related to the sun, actually. We're related to the moon, we're related to the earth, we're children of the earth, but our relationship to the sun, he's our elder brother. Sedwasi and the Kagakwa.
The older brother in Skyworld. Some say that he was her partner. The common denominator is that he represents that positive male energy. And the sun is actually a star. It's a star that's closest to Earth. And so when you think about sunlight, sunlight is actually starlight. And the sun is what lights up the moon. The moon doesn't illuminate herself. That's reflected sunlight. And the sun is actually white. But when we see those colors of sunrise and sunset, those beautiful colors, that's the sun reflecting off of the colors on Earth's atmosphere. And so when you think about sunlight being starlight, moonlight is also reflected starlight. So we have that starlight that's nourishing us every single day and every single night. And the planets, they're all like a big family. But I believe that the creator made Venus feminine because he missed his mom. And even in our culture, our aunties are real important. So in Oneida, our word for mom is Ugnalha, and our word for auntie is Yugnalha. And all that means is another mother. So even scientifically, they call them sister planets because they're close in size and they have some similarities.
Yo, so I don't know if you guys ever heard of Thor Valier. He actually was an extraterrestrial that came and visited the president in the 1960s. And he said that him and his people, they're humanoids that look like us. And they live inside of Venus, actually. So look up Thor Valier.
But that original sisterhood, that's where we learned it from. And sometimes Venus is referred to as a morning star. Sometimes during the year she's an evening star. But when Venus is an evening, when she's visible early in the morning, they say that's one of the most magical times of day for us. And if we go outside when the sun is just starting to rise and the moon is bright and Venus is also visible. So this doesn't happen every day. You have to do a search. You can search it and you can say, when is Venus visible? Like in the bright morning sky. And it'll tell you the dates that she'll be visible. And so if you go outside at this time of day and you just stand on the earth and you give thanks to the sun and the moon and Auntie Venus, that they can help guide you on your path. So sometimes we get off our path and we don't really know what direction we're supposed to be taking. So when we need that help or that clarity, we go outside at this time of day and they'll help clear that path for us. This is what Venus looks like as an evening star. And so all the planets, they're all like brothers and sisters. So Earth and Venus, those are feminine planets. Mars is masculine. Jupiter and Saturn are masculine. Neptune and Pluto are feminine. Uranus and Mercury, those are neutral planets. So I call those our two spirit planets. So this celestial family, it's inclusive. And all the planets, they all take care of each other in different ways. Jupiter really takes a lot of hits. If there's asteroids or comets or meteors coming towards Earth.
Yo, I almost think that she might have just played this at the presentation because it sounds like word for word, to be honest.
Jupiter will take that hit. And then Saturn's rings help to restore it. So 20 years ago, poor little Pluto got kicked out of the solar system because of her size. And they're still looking to replace that planet 9. And I know why she got downgraded. It's because she's smaller than the moon. And with technology, they've found so many more planets.
You know what's funny? Wait, there's 9 planets, but there's 9 clans, 8 clans. Turtle, wolf, bear, hawk, heron, snipe, beaver, eel. You got the 9 clans, yo. 9 planets.
So technically, Pluto can't be classified as a full planet anymore, because then they would have to include all the other ones. So they're still looking to replace that 9th position. So originally there was 9 planets. And for Haudenosaunee people, we have 9 clan families. And just like the planets take care of each other in different ways, our clan families take care of each other in different ways. So we have 3 water clans, 3 land clans, and 3 air clans. And we're meant
Yeah,
to
I'm an air clan, y'all. I'm an air clan. 3 air, water, land. I'm an air clan. I'm a bird too, so I belong to the. I got an air. Hold on, let me see what kind of sign is June. What kind of is June, y'all? Hey, it's an air sign. What? Yo, make that make sense. So, June 16th is my birthday, and it's also an air sign. Right? It's also an air sign. And so is my clan, y'all. My clan is also an air sign. Heron. You're land. You're land at you belong to the animals, but you're also a land sign. Me, I'm an air, but my birthday is June, which is also air, too. I used to think it was fire.
lineal. That means we get our clan system from our moms. And that's even scientific. Because of mitochondrial DNA, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And we all have the exact same mitochondrial.
See it? Who sees it? The right there, that's the cradle board for a baby. And that's the mitochondrial Eve gene powerhouse cell. Clan from Mother Earth, from mom with Mother Earth. Also, yeah. Right? The plants being feminine too.
DNA as our mother.
Yo, plants are stronger, are real strong because they can survive naked in the winter. We cannot survive naked in the winter. Some of them can, you know.
All of her children, our mother's mother, all of her children, and so on.
Will we all come back as animals? If you act like one here, you will.
And that's the exact same way our clan system
No, I'm just
works.
kidding. I don't know, bro.
And so this picture on the right here, even
Isn't
though
that what this is about? The Great Mystery? That's what they call it, the Great Mystery, because none of us will know until we get there. So if you act like one here, yeah, you can act like a pig here, you're gonna come back as one. You act like a snake here, you're gonna come back as one. You act here, you act like a maggot here, you're gonna come back as one. You act like a fucking lion in the jungle, yeah, you might come back as one. But you act like a monkey, yeah, you might come back as one, and you're gonna have pink sock.
that's a digital picture of a mitochondria, I thought, what does that look like? And to me, it looked like a little baby all wrapped up on a cradle board.
So I gotta show you guys my picture of me and my cradle board. The cradle board my mom has of me, my mom still has the cradle board. Mine was white with blue stripes going down the middle, and it had fur wrapped around this wooden part. But it matches the mitochondrial Eve powerhouse cell.
It's actually in our DNA.
You don't gotta apologize, bro.
Keep our babies feeling so protective. So the cradle board, that's an indigenous invention. Every nation of people across Turtle Island had a cradle board because we knew how special it was that when our babies made that journey across the stars and chose us to be part of our family, that we kept them close and we kept them protected. This is my mitochondrial DNA. So the picture up here on the left, that's my mother and my grandmother. On the bottom here, that's my mother, my grandmother, my sister, and my niece. We all have the exact same mitochondrial DNA. This little girl here on the right, that's Aksa B when she was little. And that's her mom, and that's her grandma. So she was raised by her grandma because her mom worked. And so Aksa B, she passed away this summer. And so up until this summer, I still had a direct connection to my great-great-grandmother because my Aksa told me what her Aksa told her. And I was really thankful for all of those days to have a grandma. Last year, we had a total solar eclipse, and I won't show pictures like of an eclipse or anything. I know people have different understandings of them.
Yeah, yo, some people say getting here is your first ceremony, being birthed. Yeah, it's your first gift. I heard. This is what I heard. You know, I don't claim to know anything, but this is what I heard. I heard that when you're born, your first gift is your breath. That's your first gift. And then your first breath, that first breath is your gift, right? And it ignites, oxygen needs fire, right? Or fire needs oxygen to burn. So that first breath of that oxygen is kick-starting your fire in your chest. And then that scream is what is bringing you in, or bringing you into this world or whatever. Here we go.
And so for Oneida, the word we use for a total solar eclipse is Wadwadahni Dasley. And what that means is when their paths cross, they back each other up. And there's lots of different eclipses, but a total solar eclipse, that only happens every 18 months. Somewhere in the world, this eclipse is happening, but for our location, like through Haudenosaunee homelands in New York, in Ontario, and Quebec, the last time a total solar eclipse happened was 99 years ago. The next time it'll happen is in 120 years. So that was the only time we're going to experience that in our lifetime in that location. And so the sun is actually 400 times larger than the moon, but it's also 400 times further away. So when their paths cross, that's why they look like they're the same size. Scientifically, they say that's a wonderful coincidence. And for indigenous knowledge, that's not a coincidence. And that's strategic planning. The sun and the moon, they knew they would have to cross paths every so often to help restore balance in that path of totality. So that path of totality went right through Turtle Island last year, from the west coast of what we now call Mexico to the east coast of what we now call Canada. And for Haudenosaunee people, they say that a total solar eclipse may have helped form the Great Law of Peace. When Jagunsa and the Peacemaker came to all the nations in the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, that the Senecas were the last ones to agree. And when the sky got dark, they took that as a sign. I'll never know for sure if that happened 100% because I wasn't there. But I was in Seneca territory last year for the total solar eclipse. And if the sky got dark like the way it did, and I was ever on the fence to agreeing to the Great Law of Peace, I 100% would have agreed. But so this path of totality.
So it's like we got scared by nature to join. It's like, oh shit, yep, we better join. Creators getting mad.
This 4,800 kilometer path, NASA said the best place to view the total solar eclipse is in Niagara Falls, New York. That's Seneca territory.
Yep.
That's Haudenosaunee homelands. When I seen that, I thought, NASA better call me because we need to be part of this conversation. I even wrote it in my planner. I think that was like January I seen that.
Yeah, yo, I think she played this recording there, to be honest.
I wrote it in my planner. I put NASA is coming.
Because she made that joke there too.
For the total solar eclipse. And
Or
so
it wasn't even a joke.
Lady
it wasn't a joke because they actually worked with her. NASA actually got back to her, so it's not really a joke.
And she said, we're
but when
with
she said that,
NASA
everybody laughed, and
so
then
that
she
we
went on to
can,
say that
the
yeah,
total solar eclipse
NASA
in
actually
Niagara
called
Falls,
her.
And we'd like to invite you to be part of it. So my presentation opened up their weekend. And so NASA, they give us their eclipse glasses. It says the eclipse through the eyes of NASA. And I just thought, what if I don't want to see the eclipse through the eyes of NASA? What if I want to see the eclipse
through the
eyes of the Haudenosaunee?
Yeah, see,
so my
she played this. This is what she played. This is what I watched this weekend.
And she made these Haudenosaunee version. But even our elders, they tell us we're not supposed to look at an eclipse.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. She was saying that some of the elders say we're not supposed to look at them. Now, I don't know if you guys follow me on Facebook, but I had asked people, I said, oh, you're so indigenous. Well, what do you do or your people do when you see a rainbow? So I want to hear what you guys do when you see a rainbow. What do your people in your tribe do when they see a rainbow? I want to know. Also, she was saying that some of the elders say that we're not supposed to look at the eclipse. You know, I've heard you're not supposed to point at it. I've heard you're not supposed to point at a lot of things. You can't point at the masks. You're not allowed to stand in doorways. You're not even allowed to tap your foot. There's certain things you can't do in indigenous culture, and I think we need to stop gatekeeping those things for our people. So shouldn't you want your culture to be the main culture? I think we need to stop asking permission too, you know? But what do your people say when they see a rainbow? Stay inside and not to look at it. Okay, I heard you guys are real big on that. I wish they gave us these in Seneca, yo. I think I might make my own. Make one for everybody. I think I'm going to make my own, but in Seneca. This is the Thanksgiving address in Mohawk. It's from 1993. 1993 Six Nations Indian Museum. So it's a 1993 copy of the Thanksgiving address in Mohawk with art and the pictures to go with it too. And it's pretty awesome. They threw this in my bundle. And it inspired me to make my own. So I'm going to be making my own copy. And I'm probably going to get a hardcover for it or put leather on it. Nice copy of it. And I'm going to put it, I would like it, I love our alphabet and all that. I love our alphabet. But as indigenous people, I think we need to decolonize more. Even our alphabet, we're using a Latin alphabet. We're using a Latin alphabet. And yes, the Latin alphabet goes back to the star constellation. It does. But I think that we should adopt the Cherokee alphabet. Being we should support our own people and make that our language. Because Cherokee is also part of the Iroquois language family, and we have the same language, the same sounds, and we could use the same symbols. That would be considered decolonizing. They're part of the same language family, and they use a different alphabet from us. They use an indigenous made alphabet. Some people say it looks like Hebrew, but they got pictures and videos, or looks nice, yo. I would love for our people to adopt that. Yo, nobody has you blocked, Chico. There's only 12 people in here. The only comments that I see people commenting is Big Meats, Jose, Demayan, you, and you. That's the only 3 people that are commenting for a while. And then I am Couture. And then yeah. And then Nawat. And then Radhika Justice. That's it. And then Roosevelt Park. That's the only people that are on my commenting on YouTube. Your tally shows 13. Well, my tally only shows, now it shows 13. Hey! Yeah, I'm gonna get back to the video.
There's different reasons for that. One is because it's harmful to your eyes leading up. But there's also an emotional factor. Because the sun and the moon, they haven't seen each other for like a year and a half. So you know how when you haven't seen your family for a long time and you see them and you get really emotional? And other people, they say, I'm going to let you guys have a moment. So it's that special that we don't even have to look at it. All we have to do is embrace the energy of it in that path of totality. So during the total solar eclipse, it was cloudy where we were, so we couldn't see anything anyways. But the sky got really dark, like midnight dark, for 4 minutes, and the nocturnal animals came out, and there was just this like sense of peace for those couple minutes where during the day it turned night. And so during the total solar eclipse, I put my phone up to the sky because I have this app. And there's also a partial planetary alignment. So there's a huge celestial family reunion happening.
Yo, I heard that point with a thumb, yeah.
We could see it or not.
Is that for good luck? Does that mean like good luck though? Because that's what I heard. It means good luck, right? Or no?
Embrace the energy of it. And this was one of my favorite parts. When the sun reemerged, there was like a 360-degree sunrise. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
Point with your lips.
They say that a total solar eclipse is the most awe feeling that you will ever naturally feel. There's people that call them eclipse chasers, and they travel the world wherever that path of totality is. The next total solar eclipse is going to go through Greenland, Iceland, parts of Spain and Europe, and they're already preparing for it. And so there's also different kinds of nebulas.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a helix nebula. So this happens when a sun-like star dies. It stages its own wake, a bright, colorful display that can last for tens of thousands of years. They also call it an eye in the sky. So a lot of times our connections, the star world, they're already telling us like every single thing that we need to know. Because what else this looks like is our...
So, wait. So, I'll show you something else. Remind me about that map. Which map? The one with the stars on it? That was just here? That one down there with the stars on it, is that the map you're talking about? The X?
Circle Wampo. And
Okay.
so when Jagunsa is saying
I
the
will.
peacemaker came to all of our nations to get everybody to agree to the great law of peace, we agreed to bury our weapons. And now I tell people it's time to bury.
Here, let me show you guys something real quick. That's what that is. The Helix Nebula and the condolence beads. That's like the sachems, all the sachems. Right there. All the clan names and titles. But that's what it signifies. All 50 of them. But, you know, on the picture she has, there's like red markings on it. Yeah, Circle of 50 Chiefs. But yeah, you can see it actually in the Helix Nebula. Do you see the Helix Nebula? How you can see the eye, but on the outer part of it, there's a perfect circle of it. And that's still that, yo. I can never look at this the same without seeing it now. So even the stars is embedded in our culture. Yeah, the strands, you can see all the strands, each strand, yo. But here's the video. She's the best at explaining it.
Bury our oppression because it's so weaponizing, and our understandings are so brilliant. And so when we think about, you know, like everything that our people did and everything, how the Great Law of Peace didn't help just Haudenosaunee people.
Hey,
It
shout out
helped
to
many
Paula.
nations across the world have an understanding of peace.
Thank you, Paula.
And we also have stars in
I
our
think I sent
creation
you
story.
a invite by
And
accident,
so
baby
when
ghost.
Creator first made stars, he made them so that the
Everybody spam
night would
W's in
be
the
so
chat for
complete.
Paula.
And they say that every star is said to be the soul of a departed loved one. And the stars are, they help us, remind us on how to have a good mind. When Creator first made colors, the first three things he made with color was the bluebird, the sunflower, and the red osier dogwood, or red willow. Those are still the primary colors of the world today. And they're also the same color as stars.
Yeah, yo. So even in our indigenous culture is the foundation to modern day science. So she just said that the first three colors that Creator made, Sungwa Diso, he made the bluebird, the daisy, the yellow daisy, and the red willow. And those are the three main primary colors in today. And those are the three first things that he made, or things that had color that he made. It's like, so you see how our knowledge and our culture is like, in our stories, is basically the foundation of modern science. The sunflower. Oh, yeah, I think next she's going to talk about how the daisy is the moon. And then when you blow on the thing, it becomes the stars. And then when they grow, it turns into the sun. That's what I already saw this presentation at the conference this weekend, so I think she'll talk about
And
that
so
next.
this was one of our, I call this our first telescope.
Yep.
They're star pointers.
We invented the concept of the telescope. All indigenous people navigated the stars, so.
You know how they say it wasn't polite to point at people? Well, they also said it wasn't polite to point at stars. So we use these star pointers and.
Yeah, and that's probably what they said about rainbows and fucking solar eclipses too, that you can't point at that stuff. You know, so they had to come up with this.
I call it our first telescope, not because it can magnify, but when you can direct your vision to one certain area and focus in on it, your vision will blur out everything around it to make it feel like it's magnified. So this would have been the understanding for it. Everything is in the star world. Our clan system is in the star world. Our creation story is in the star world. They tell us every single thing that we need to know.
So the clan system, we need to go over that one too. We need to look at the star maps, and we need to go over the clans and reclaim our star signs back. So I'm not a Gemini, but maybe am I? Because the twins is the Gemini sign, and that's actually our fucking thing, yo. We got the twins. So you see what I mean? Like, is the crab really a crab or is it a turtle? You know? Is the bird really a fucking whatever, or is it a hawk or a heron? You know? Or a snipe? But let's go.
No. But the constellations that we use most of the days.
Oh yeah, they talked about like why the leaves turn red too in the fall. Like, and that's because of the Big Dipper, actually, and the story behind it. But I'm gonna save that one for fall time. That's a good story, actually. She told that story.
Still, the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, and the Pleiades. And how the Big Dipper came to be is they say a long time ago there was this big, humongous bear, and he was eating everything in the woods.
She'll tell it right now.
So when the hunters went out, they weren't successful. And so the community started to get really hungry. Then they started to get really sick. So on 3 nights, 3 hunters, they had the exact same dream that they hunted this big, humongous bear. And so when they woke up in the morning, they told their community, they said, we're going to hunt this bear, and we're not going to come back until we get it. So they set out and they hunted this bear, and they could get close enough to where they could harm it, but it would never die. And so the bear, they say the bear just got tired of being hunted. And so one day the bear just ran as hard as it could, and it jumped off the earth and it jumped into the star world. And those hunters, they said, we're not letting it go. We can't go home until we get that bear. So they also ran as hard as they could, and they jumped into the star world. So the scoop of the Big Dipper represents that bear, and the handle represents the 3 hunters. And so every season, they're still hunting it. And so throughout the year, they hunt that bear still, and
and you know what symbol this makes, right? This makes the peace symbol, or what you guys know as a bad symbol today. And it was used throughout all 4 corners of the world. Every culture used the symbol, but Little Mustache Man corrupted it and made it a bad symbol now. But this is at the spring and fall equinox and summer and winter solstice at 4 times of the year. And the closest the hunters are to the bear, it changes, it gets closer, and it's in the fall time they can get close enough to the bear to wound it, and the blood from the bear drips on the leaves in the fall time. That's why the leaves turn red.
When it gets to the lowest position, the closest position to Earth, they say those hunters that they can.
What the heck?
What turns the fall leaves red and yellow and orange. So that's a continuous cycle, and they continue to keep hunting that bear. And this is how you find the North Star. If you line the side of the scoop up on the side of the Big Dipper, and you go straight up. So the North Star Polaris, that's like the leader of the stars. Polaris doesn't move. All the other stars rotate circumpolar or counterclockwise around the North Star. And Polaris and these 2 stars on the side of the scoop, they're the same brightness. The other stars in the middle, they're not as bright. That's why the Little Dipper is harder to find than the Big Dipper. Then we have the Pleiades. And they say a long time ago there was 8 young boys, and they wanted to have a ceremony in the woods. So they asked their moms for food, and their moms were like, no, we're not giving you guys food to take to the woods. So they're kind of upset. And they said, don't worry, we'll still have our ceremony. without our feast. So when they began to sing and dance for creation, their intentions were so strong that they began to lift off the ground. They got higher and higher. Their parents seen them and they tried to call them back. And the one dancer, he said, whatever you do, don't look back. And they got higher and higher. And one of the boys, they say that he missed his mom. So when he looked back, he fell and he became a comet. And the rest of them, they danced all the way into Star World. But they've become a real important astronomical marker for us. Because, so this is the Pleiades from my house. This is the Pleiades zoomed in. This is the Pleiades zoomed in even more. And so they tell us that's where we come from. We come from the Pleiades. And so the Pleiades, that's part of the Milky Way. I think I froze up. Oh, no, okay. So the Pleiades are part of the Milky Way. And so this is where we would come from. We come from the Pleiades. We travel down.
Did you hear what she said? When she said that at the thing, I was like, what? We come from the Pleiades? So yeah, we come from the Pleiades, and this is called the Great Sky Road right here. Our people call the Milky Way the Great Sky Road, and it makes sense because it's a beaten trail. This is a beaten trail, and they say when you pass away, there's going to be a beaten trail and a not-so-beaten trail, right? And maybe they want you to not go, they say you want to go down the not-so-beaten trail, but, you know, maybe the not-so-beaten trail is like another star system. Maybe you're supposed to go down the beaten trail back home to the Pleiades. Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying, y'all. She knows her shit. She knows her fucking shit. And then this might be this could be, this is a black hole right here. There's only 2 black holes in our solar system or whatever that have ever been photographed. And Haudenosaunee creation story knows about black holes before everybody. The black hole has only been discovered 130 years ago. We knew about this dark hole or this hole, that wormhole or black hole that Skywoman fell through, this portal or whatever, right? We knew about that thousands of years ago. So just to put it into perspective for you guys.
This is where Sagittarius A star is located. I think I froze up. Again. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
My connection just got unstable for a minute. So the Pleiades, you know how at the airport where there's those people outside and they have those glow in the dark sticks and they're guiding the planes out of park? So the Pleiades, they're like that for us in Star World. Because Star World is so humongous that when we make that journey across the stars, across the Milky Way, that the Pleiades are.
She talked about her sister in the beginning. I can do it when it's over.
Telling us, this is where you got to turn. This is where you got to go back to Sky World. So they become a real important astronomical marker for us. And just in case you're wondering how old our creation story is, the Milky Way is 13.6 billion years old. The sun is 4.6 billion. The earth is 4.543 billion. The moon is 4.53 billion. And the Big Dipper is 450 million. And the Pleiades is 100 million. So even though those are scientific numbers, it's not about the number per se.
You know what she said this weekend, though? She said that new studies came out and said that Haudenosaunee people have DNA that is 9 billion years old. It's older than the Earth itself.
But it's about the order of things. Because in the universe, time is measured differently. But that's the exact order as our creation story. They also say that human DNA is 9 billion years old. Because the complexity of DNA changes every 600 million years, so scientists figured out like where it would have began, and so they didn't even believe their own number.
Yeah,
Because
we're
they
older
said
than
if
the sun.
DNA is 9 billion years old, that means it came from another place. That
Exactly.
DNA is older than Earth. But we know that in our creation stories.
Yeah, we already knew that.
And so our creation story, it's not just about the things that we can see on Earth. It's about the galaxy that we live in. The Milky Way galaxy, that's our neighborhood. In the universe, there's trillions of galaxies. Galaxies are made up of stars, planets, moons, gas, dust, dark matter, that's all held together by gravity. And we're a tiny, tiny piece of this whole big, humongous universe. But this is our home. And it's so beautiful to have a perspective of being able to see it when you travel through the stars. And so our creation story, it's not folk.
I gotta get a screenshot of this too. Sorry, guys. There you go.
Folklore. It's scientific. And we have had this knowledge and these understandings for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Yo, you know what this reminds me of? The Hindu depiction. Yeah, it's on YouTube, yo. This is on YouTube, guys. So you guys can watch it yourself. It's called Indigenous Astronomy, as told by the Haudenosaunee. See it at the bottom? It's by SACCNAS. Yeah, not the Kundalini. It looks like their depiction of the realms. There's literally realms to where we live. And those realms would be these different planets, actually. So, let me show you real quick. Here we go. They got realms to their stuff, yo. That's what it reminded me of. That's the Hindu. Different planets. Yeah, yo. See, we have names for these things, yo. That's what I'm saying, yo. And these are the different planets. Those are different planets, yo. And they're flat. You see what I mean? Planets has the word plane in it. And you know what? They even put the sky dome. The sky dome is in throughout all of our art. So, see that? That's the sky dome. That's the sky dome. That's the sky dome. Let me show you. Let's look this up. Iroquois sky dome. Right there. That's your sky dome, yo. Yeah, yo. It's not that it's flat, it's hollow. This is on all of our art, yo. Everywhere. That's the tree of life. That's the celestial tree of life where the tree fell down into a sprout. Now it probably was way bigger like that. She planted a new one there. This is Turtle Island. Those are the ice wall, right? Or this is the ice wall, but that's the sky dome. Here, let me find a better one. Yup, that's the sky dome. That's the celestial sprout where the tree of life used to be. Or tree of lights, right? Here's another one. This is a good one. This is the ice wall, the 3 layers of the firmament, Turtle Island or Pangea. But yeah, yo, you see what I mean? It's all in the whole thing. We're star people, we're sky people, yo.
The equinoxes and the solstices, those are real special days. Those would have been our celebration days. We didn't celebrate holidays like how we do now. These would have been our celebration days. And because the time that we're spending with the sun is changing, and the time that we're spending with the moon is changing. So that's why we celebrated these in the time we spend with certain constellations. And we didn't celebrate within a big, huge event. We celebrated by reconnecting to creation. You could also tell time if you line the side of the Big Dipper up to the North Star and go counterclockwise. That'll tell you what time it is approximately until the sun comes up.
Yeah, and then also by putting your hand, each finger represents 15 minutes underneath the sun. So you get the sun. So say the sun is at the 20, you'd have 45 minutes or 15 minutes. You'd have an hour till the sunset if the sun was at the 20. If it was at the 19, yeah, you'd have 45 minutes.
We could also measure time with our fingers. Just gonna use this pen. So if we measure the bottom of the sun to the horizon line, and however many fingers we can fit in between that space, every finger means we have 15 minutes of daylight left. So if you can fit 3 fingers, that means we have 45 minutes of daylight left. So during the day, you can fit a lot of hands in between the sun and the horizon line. So every 4 fingers, that would be an hour. So during the day, you have a lot of hours of daylight left. And that's how you call them hands on a clock, because that's how we measure time.
Hands on a clock. Hey,
Our communities also had astronomical placement.
So she talked about this too now, the star forts. Dang, yo, the star forts, the mounds, and the pyramids all line up to the stars and they face certain ways, even like the Freemasons. So I believe it's a possibility that they may have learned from the Native Americans, the Freemasons, the builders, because they weren't building awesome buildings till they got over here. And they used Native Americans to build them. They had brick laying Native Americans, yo. They had brick laying Native Americans and Native Americans that knew how to build buildings and portals, basically. So a portal, like how the Freemasons believe, is like if you have a door that faces north and like this winter and summer equinox or spring and fall or equinox or solstice or whatever, right? Whatever the fuck, right? And you got the moon and the sun that lines up in your doorway at like high noon or midnight, that it will create like a portal, especially if you have like columns too, like a Stargate actually. So Native Americans were putting their doorways facing certain ways, and we still do this to this day actually. And it's funny because some of the first we do this. We're longhouse people. We had buildings that were sometimes 3 stories tall, a quarter mile long. We build skyscrapers. We were some of the first ironworkers too, and we built all the cities, right? So Native Americans literally had builder gods, and sky gods, and we would make our buildings in these star forts. They used the Susquehanna, an Iroquoian speaking people. And then we're doorkeepers too at that. Seneca are keepers of the western door. Mohawks are keepers of the eastern door too. So everything to do with like the placement of the building and the way the door sits, even where the men and women sleep, even the way we face our bed, in our bedroom, it has to be a certain way, Everything has to be a certain way and has to line up with the stars, and we're losing this knowledge, We're losing this knowledge, and we need to do something about it, We need to upkeep our ways, if we want to stay strong. Is hypnosis science? Probably, I don't know.
So our communities were built
so.
up. Everybody has a gift. And that gift was nurtured by your community. And then when that gift was mature enough, it nurtured the community. So that was a reciprocal. And
yeah, your head is not supposed to face the doorway.
Understanding. So our communities are made up of using everybody's gifts to the best of their abilities. We didn't have to be good at every single thing. You gave your gift to help be a successful community. We also have astronomical placement of our longhouses. So for Haudenosaunee people, we lived in longhouses. And this wampum belt, this Confederacy belt, right here, this kind of represents upstate New York. So this one represents the Senecas. They're the keepers of the West. So that's like to Niagara Falls in Buffalo, all the west side.
So I already explained it to you that that's Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Schenectady, and Albany, right? Tuscaroras are near Niagara Falls, and then us and the Shinnecock and Puspatuck share New York City. This bottom one down here is the Oneidas made this for the Tuscaroras. So this is originally it's the 5-nation belt, the Hiawatha belt. Tuscarora haven't been with us in the Confederacy only since the early 1700s. Oneida really kind of brought them in, kind of spoke for them. So these are all... Oh yeah, I got this at the conference too. It's like all star knowledge this weekend. That's where I had the blanket ceremony too, was where I learned all this. And that's the 6 nations all together on one belt, because they don't have them on Tuscarora on that one.
And then this one represents the Cayugas, the Onondagas, the Oneida.
A Time Machine Israel. Look up Baron Trump.
And the Mohawks.
Yeah, this is all the planets.
And so that's how it all... I'm going to send the message. That's how we laid out our longhouses. Because you only entered the Confederacy through the east and the west, that's how our longhouse doors were, on the Mohawks and the Senecas.
Yeah.
And the Oneidas and the Cayugas, their doorways are north to south.
Yep.
And the Onondagas, that's one in the central. They have one central door in the middle.
Yep.
And the wampum belt down here is the Oneida wampum belt. It represents all the nations, including Tuscarora.
Yeah.
And then we also have astronomical placement of our gardens. And so we planted our gardens north to south to get equal sun. And the sunflower is the big brother of the garden. Just like how the sun told Sky Woman, Ama's gonna watch out for you. So currently we have approximately 75 Haudenosaunee seed keepers, and they take care of different seeds. And the Farmer's Almanac, that's all indigenous knowledge. And the garden is actually part of our original education system. And so the garden teaches us many things, from all the subjects that we learn in the beginning stages of school. The garden teaches us all of those things. So that would have been our original education system. And when we change the way we teach, we change the way we learn. When we change the way we learn, we change the way we understand. And when we change the way we understand, that's when we change the world. So Indigenous education, that's the highest level of learning because it doesn't stop. Even when after we go to school, after you have your degrees, Indigenous learners are going to keep learning forever because we're lifelong learners and lifelong teachers. And that's how we've stayed so successful because we always took care of each other and with those understandings. So I'm going to end that there for you to think about being those lifelong learners and those lifelong teachers and keeping your connections to Star World. And I'm going to stop the.
So, welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Alyssa and I am from and joining.
Okay. Dang, yo, that was a good one, huh? That was probably one of the best things that I ever learned this weekend. They got a whole bunch of classes, it looks like, yo. Honestly, and I want to watch all of them with you guys. And we'll be doing this every day, yo. I want to share and learn with you guys because I'm learning too. I don't know shit, you know. I don't know shit. You think you know something, and then you meet other people, and it's like, damn, yo, I don't know a damn fucking thing, yo. So, yeah, yo, we're all learning because even stuff from other tribes. These people are from different tribes. This girl's Oneida. They got different knowledge than Seneca. Seneca has different knowledge than Oneida too. So this is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. It's not Seneca don't know everything. Mohawk don't know everything. Onondaga don't know everything. So yeah, you gotta branch out and learn from other people from other tribes. This is our people. They're Haudenosaunee. This is not even like another tribe to me. You know, this is still our family. That fucking legitimately changed everything. What, the video for you? Yeah, dude, it changed me. Learning all that. You know, a lot of it, to be honest, I kind of like knew, and it was a good refresher and reminder. And there was a lot that I didn't know, though. Actually, there's a lot that I didn't know, but a lot of it, I was like, oh shit, I talked about that on my live, you know, and it was just a real good video, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So now you guys got the name of the video. You guys can go watch it yourself. Her name's Samantha Doxtator, and that was probably, she had the best speech this weekend, I'd say. Does the purge happen in America like in the movie? Every month, bruh. Every month. Every day, basically. It's like that every day, basically. You just got crazy people. But yeah. Check that out. Hey, it's got lava. This is lava. Hardened lava. You can feel it. It feels like. Can you type in the chat? Type it in the chat. Yeah, I got you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome.
Here, I'll just show you right here. That's what it's called. Indigenous astronomy as told by the Haudenosaunee. Okay? Indigenous astronomy as told by the Haudenosaunee by Samantha Doxtator. Okay? But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I just wanted to share that with you guys. We'll do class tomorrow. Actually, I'll probably just stay on and work on some content. Probably will call it a night. We do got 18 people on each one. That's what's up. We're trying to branch out more. I would like to get on Instagram to go tear up the Pretendians over there. We got a busy schedule, yo. We got a very busy schedule, and I'm glad my life is going the way I've always wanted it to, and I didn't know really what I wanted growing up. to be honest. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be. Now I know what I want to be and what I want to work towards, you know. And it took me 30 fucking years. So, finally feel like I'm on the right track now. I just need to, and I'm trying to stay on a straight and narrow. I'm not trying to be going back and forth with bums no more, yo. All they do is try to make me look bad. That's all they do, is try to make me look bad. And I'm not trying to look bad. Sorry. So, definitely will replay the video. Yeah, go watch it, yo. It's fucking awesome, yo. She's definitely one of the smartest Haudenosaunee that I know. She bringing a lot of, lots of, good energy, you know. I like the way she explains things too, so. I wish I got to meet her though. I didn't get to meet her. There was a lot of people there, yo. There's like 600 people there. But yeah, I want to work on this. I want to get one. Make my own now. Put it in Seneca. And make it thicker and put what I want to do. I'm working on a book right now. I want to put everything that I learned in a book. And even more conspiracies that have to do with our people. Because there's a lot of conspiracies that have to do with our people. Like how Baby Ghost was saying, the Mormons think we're the tribe of Judah. They also say that fucking Handsome Lake taught, or disciples of Handsome Lake invented Mormonism, or told Joseph Smith some fucking Hebrew Egyptian language. And it's funny because we got hieroglyphics too. And yeah, yo, it's just there's a lot, yo. There's a lot of stuff out there, and I want to document it so I can, people from the Haudenosaunee, younger relatives can learn from us, and they can see it. And I want to document everything that I'm learning, as we'll be learning every day, watching videos, and I'll be adding my knowledge to it. So, and all my live streams you can watch on YouTube. So if you missed the live stream, go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. That's why I'm trying not to go back and forth with people too. Because say I go back and forth with someone and I say something fucking crazy, then I gotta delete that whole fucking live stream. You know? So I'm not trying to do all that. Akwesasne has a Hebrew, Mohawk, Latin language. Hebrew, Mohawk, Latin language. You want to come on up and explain that more, bro? That sounds very interesting. I would love to hear more about it, bro. Keep me on, bro. Come on up and talk to me. Sweet. Scan out. So you guys got a Hebrew Mohawk language up there, or?
Yeah, so I guess our church is older than Canada, and we have like the first church in Canada. And when you go inside and look at all the like stories and shit they got on the wall, they have a weird ass language. And when you look at it, you can tell it's supposed to it's got Mohawk, but it has Latin and Hebrew influences in it.
What is it called? I want to look it up.
Akwesasne. I don't know what the church is called. They have like a Dominican dude preaching, and it's crazy.
First church in Canada. Dude, this sounds so interesting, bro. This is right up my alley. 1775 Jesuit missionaries, church, like preach and company. Okay. Let's see if they got images. Is this it? Hold on. Right here?
That's the one.
Right there?
Yes, sir.
And it's got old written language in there?
Yeah.
Dang, bro. You should go there and get inside and get some pictures or something.
Sneak in and get some pics.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Is this it? No.
No.
Yo, where I'm at, I live by one of these, bro. Here in Buffalo.
I don't know where that is.
But yo, that's so cool, dude. That's really cool. And you know what? I definitely think that there's a connection to Hebrew and Latin in our language. They say Mohawk is...
Yeah, they were here before we even created Canada.
Canada's Mohawk. And I think that it's not that there's a connection to Hebrew and Latin. I think that Latin, Hebrew, and Mohawk or Iroquois dialects are dialects of some Atlantean language that was in the Atlantic Ocean in between the Middle East, Europe, and America. That's what I think. That it had to come from there. That it's not that our languages come from theirs unless their languages come from ours. And that's what study hasn't happened yet. They haven't tried to trace their languages coming from ours yet. They keep trying to look for our languages coming from Asian, and they can't find any connection. It's because we got a different language tree. And they're trying to compare Native American dialects to Asian when they should be comparing it to English and Latin and Hebrew. That's what they should be comparing it to, not Asian. Because our language sounds nothing like Asian. It's got lots of English sounding words. Ga, ha, sa, we, ge, ne, he, de, je, we, snay. You know, it's lots of that.
Yeah, and we structure our sentences and everything differently too. All our words have prefixes and suffixes and root words.
Yeah. And you know what? Like the word in Spanish for man is hombre. Our word in Seneca is hongue. Isn't that weird? Or in Hebrew, their word for a high priest is Sagan. Our word for like a high chief or high whatever is sachem. So there's connections, yo, that I see.
I think there's definitely a lot of stuff like upon contact that they're not telling nobody.
Yeah, the Jesuits got it. They're the ones that came in and recorded all our ceremonies. They're the ones that took our stuff and took it back to the church so they could rewrite the Bible.
You familiar with Manitoulin Island in Canada?
No. I don't know Canada history that well.
At one point, they wanted to send all the natives to Manitoulin Island. And then when you go there, they have this weird old Jesuit building. Like, there's a highway when you get onto the island, and you go like 2 or 3 miles, and there's a hill. And on top of this hill is this old-ass Jesuit church with the fucking... It's got like a weird eye painted on it. All kinds of weird-ass art, man.
Yeah.
You can tell it's not like just Ojibwe art. Like, they wanted to put all of us there.
Yeah, they find all types of stuff, yo. So I just came across something on my page, yo, on my Facebook. Let me see if I got it in my drafts. But I tried to share it, and it was about it's not gonna show up. But it was about maybe I can look for it. They found an Iroquois. They found an Iroquois fort in Indiana right here. An ancient horseshoe-shaped fort in danger of being destroyed in Fort Wayne, Indiana. All the way in Indiana. This is almost past the Mississippi. It's at the Mississippi. It's not past it. Where is it? I don't know. But yeah, look. Our territory was all over the Northeast, all over the Great Lakes. So, is this horseshoe-shaped fort right here that they're finding in the woods, and it's an ancient Iroquois fort that they're saying. Basically a star fort. Our people built star forts that lined up with the stars. Our villages were basically cities that had like structure to it, and the doorways would face a certain way for winter, summer solstice, spring and fall equinox. And basically that doorway would kind of create like a portal to let when we'd have certain ceremonies, to let our ancestors come in, because the doorway would be facing a certain way when the moon and sun would line up in front of it and all that at a certain time, you know?
Open their sweat lodges.
Yeah, so these forts, they know it's ours probably because the placement of the buildings, because we were the ones that lived in longhouses. So they know whether it's a Haudenosaunee fort or not, whether if there's longhouses or not, because we're the only ones that pretty much lived in longhouses that were real long, and that's how they would know that we were like a different group of people from the rest, because other people were living in wigwams, pueblos, or teepees, and we were living by clan family in real long buildings, actually, with cities, with gated communities, the mounds and all that. Like all the mounds are actually old villages from our people in the Northeast. Like Old Fort Niagara, that's built on half of a star fort, and half of these star forts are just built on top of mounds, actually. And then the mounds are some of them are just buried pyramids from the flood. There was like a big, so in like the 1800s, this is another history that they hid from us. They might have even added 1,000 years to our timeline, but there was a mud flood that had happened, and that's why like people can't dig past 30 feet. Like this whole narrative of them thinking that we're like primitive savages, it's over. Like we have the world's oldest. They found the world's oldest clothes here, the world's oldest artifacts, the world's oldest metal working here. Like we were already wearing metal jewelry when they came here. You know?
Yeah, we were blinged out in silver, head to toe.
Exactly. So like that's what I'm saying, is like they're trying to push this narrative about us, but too many of us are waking up and sharing our knowledge like that. Samantha, man, that changes a lot of things for a lot of Haudenosaunee. Like we live in it's such a great time to be Haudenosaunee, you know, with all the knowledge. Like these are historical times, because now we live in a day and age with supercomputers where we can confirm our teachings, you know, with our ancestors didn't have access to all this, so now we can just look up stuff. Like they had to go to the library, and it's way different now. These are very historical times, and we're documenting all of it, and that's the best part about it, you know.
Now we got NASA scientists like, yo, they right.
Yeah, they heard did you hear her? They hit her up. NASA hit her up and needed her approval or whatever for needed her help. Yo, what up? Oh, no, it's not that they needed her approval. They needed what did they need from her? They needed it was passing through our territory, and they had her open up for NASA in an event, actually. So they were hosting like a solar eclipse viewing event, and all that. So, but yeah, yo, ancient star fort found in the woods in Indiana, and they're saying it's at Iroquois Star Fort. Ancient Iroquois fort dating back to 800 AD is still visible, but not even recognized by the idiots at the Allen County Historical Society. Get the directions at Nephilim Chronicles, a travel guide to the ancient ruins of the Ohio Valley. Oh, this seems interesting. So this is another thing that our people aren't paying attention to. Our people are not so... This is like the stuff that I like to talk about. So we're the mound builders, bro. We're descendants of the mound builders. That's who Seneca are, at least. Onon, the date is the word for hill, right? And we are Onon the God, great hill people. And even like in this little depiction of, hold on. Like if you look at this depiction of like how they depict the Seneca, they'll even show a little mound right here. See it? You know this drawing. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this drawing, yo. But it's depiction of a mound right there. We're the great mound people, great hill people. We don't say mound though. And this knowledge was lost to us, but I got proof of us being descendants of these people. DNA proof, fucking the artifacts with, and all the mounds are in our territory actually too. They're all in Haudenosaunee territory. Let me show you.
Yeah, the biggest one too, Cahokia.
Yeah, so it's all of our shit, to be honest.
Is it West Studi?
No. Oh, maybe. But yeah, look, these are all the mounds, or all the bones, giant remains in Haudenosaunee territory. Even where the Garden of Eden is too, is in our territory. Indiana, so this would have been ours too. This would have been conquered land that we took over. But the Garden of Eden is right here. This was Turtle Island. And the world's oldest forest is here in New York too. But where's these mounds at? Oh, did I ever show you this one? The DNA of the X haplogroup of that, the Hebrew DNA, Israelite DNA. So this is all they tested for it on people from the Northeast, Mohawk, and this is what they popped up for. They tested 19 Mohawk, or 123 Mohawks, yo. Isn't that cool? And then 19 Oklahoma Cherokees, and then a bunch of Cherokee. But they tested 123 Mohawks of their haplogroups. A, B, C, D are haplogroups that originated in the Americas. The X haplogroup is a haplogroup from the Middle East. And the H haplogroup is also a haplogroup from India, which is weird. But that's another thing that they're not telling us. I think a lot of humans may have roots in India for some reason too. Or Indians from India might come from here. They might be our cousins somehow. If we look at the similarities between the Hanuman pyramids in India with the monkey temples over in Central America, they're almost identical, actually. So check that out. But yeah, they tested 123 Mohawks, and this was their haplogroups, their range. But none of them had the X haplogroup. Other people that did, though, were the Siouan, the Algonquin, Turtle Mountain Chippewa, Ojibwe, and Ojibwe have come clean and said that they are these people too. I don't know if you guys know, but I've watched a couple videos on YouTube of them saying that. of some an Ojibwe chief coming forward and saying that they're the Lamanites, a Semitic people or whatever. Let me find this. Right here. So here's all the mounds. Look at our territory. Or all up here. This is where they start. This is all, yeah, so dude, this is all of us, bro. We are the mound builders. That's all of us right there. Ohio is Seneca language too. These mounds are thousands of years old. Builders. Iroquois mound builders. Oh, right here. Here we go.
About the mound builders, and a lot of people don't know who the mound builders are, but the people that are the mound builders or descendants of the mound builders are the Native Americans, especially on the East Coast. Your northeastern tribes, your southeastern tribes, and some of your midwestern tribes. Most of the mounds are along the Mississippi, going all the way up to ending at the Allegheny River here in upstate New York. In a lot of these mounds, you find giant remains, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about star forts and how these giant mound builder tribes, right, the Susquehanna and Iroquois speaking people, some of my people, right, helped the colonizers build these star forts on top of these sacred sites. Now, these star forts are military forts. These were some of the first forts, buildings to be put up over here. So the colonizers and the conquistadors and the first explorers would have a place to, rest their head in the new world, because there's a lot of wild Indian savages and all that running around collecting scalps, fucking badass warriors, right? Tatted up chiefs, right? But anyway, the Susquehanna were known for their complex building structures, and they were giant. So Honondagayas is what my people call George Washington and his family, his great-grandfather to his father to him, Honondagayas, and it means town destroyer. They befriended the Indians and they did the Indians dirty, but they wiped out the last of the Susquehanna, and the Iroquois tribes were mercenaries.
So the Susquehanna didn't get wiped out. That DNA still lives on in the Oneidas.
We're some of the most toughest
and the Senecas
warriors,
too.
On the North American continent, actually.
Goji.
So you had Iroquois warriors going after Iroquois warriors. You had these complex Tartarian style buildings being put up by these skywalkers, these first early skywalkers, which a skywalker is an Iroquois ironworker or roofer, and they build these Tartarian style buildings, all the skyscrapers. We were building 3-story, quarter-mile long longhouses in ancient times. So our people didn't
so whenever they find a village with real big buildings, they automatically know that it's Iroquois speaking people, big boned giant people, Empire State people.
In teepees or dung huts, we lived in cities. We had gated communities and all that. And then these forts where our ancestors, these mounds where our ancestors would build or have these ceremonies and these rituals at. We had other enemies that would build mounds and all that. A lot of people say that a lot of the Druids and some of even like the Lamanites and Nephites, these Hebrews and all that, they claim The Vikings also, a lot of people make claims to these mounds, but it wasn't just one group of mound builders. There was different types of mounds. So like these obsolete mounds in certain areas, they would, the colonizers would have the Susquehanna build these up. They would build them up on top of these.
By building them up by laying bricks down, building pyramids or star forts around these mounds, because this earth shape, that ground, they didn't move ground, they just built on top of it on sometimes old villages. And you can tell that this was an old village because the longhouses, there would have been a longhouse there, one right there, and one right there, and they would have had their fire in the middle and all that. So that's the way these villages were made. And they would just build on top of that and lay bricks. So these would be your brick laying Native Americans from the Northeast that later became your first ironworkers and roofers that built Empire State Building, Twin Towers, Brooklyn Bridge. Your brick laying Native Americans, your building Native Americans.
Mounds, these giant mounds. So the first one is Fort Jackson. This is a star fort built on top of a mound. The next one is Fort Ontario. So you can see how they use the land. These mounds would align with different star constellations at different times of the year. They would align with sunrise and sunset, as you can.
Yeah, see how sunset just lined perfectly up with that.
You can see Fort Ontario is here in Oswego. So you had Mount
Oswego. That's also our language.
All the way up in New York and to parts of Canada, all over the world actually you have mounds. And you have these star forts all over the world too, right? Tartarian Empire was everywhere. Now Siberia and Mongolia, East Asia was part of Grand Tartary, Tartaria. That's what the Wall of China is. The Wall of China, the arrow holes face China, right? People say Native Americans came from Siberia and Mongolia. Well, Native Americans aren't majority Siberian or East Asian or Mongolian. That's only 1 or 2%. But that place used to be called Tartarian, so you can start calling us Tartarians. But yeah, this is Oswego, Ontario, Iroquois language. Now this one,
Oswegensi.
One is Fort Wayne. Obviously, you can see it was built on top of a mound. Now,
yeah, and then there was a longhouse there, a longhouse there, a longhouse there, and a longhouse there. So you see how they just built on top of that, and then we were the ones that were living in the gated communities like that, is for a strategic view in case we got attacked, because we were fighting fucking race of giants, fucking monsters, and all types of shit, y'all.
Think of like Cahokia. You see how big Cahokia is? It's like one of the biggest mounds here in America. And now imagine the colonizers. That would be a good advantage point for us to look down and shoot, right? And build a base up there. So they did that. And they would have mercenaries, Indians, traders. You had Indians that would kill for the white man as long as they paid the right, amount of money. That's what I mean. My people were like badass fucking killers, yo. Merciless Indian savages. But you could also hire us.
Again, you can see where the longhouses would have sat. One right there, one right there, one right there, one right there.
Susquehanna, an early Skywalker, to come help you build a star fort on top of these mounds, actually. Here's another depiction.
See where the longhouses would have sat? Right there, right there, right there, right there, or even one right there, like that, for certain doorways. Because remember, Oneida and Cayuga, their doorways are north and south, while ours are east and west.
Of Fort Wayne, and this is just 3 out of, I don't know, a couple dozen of these star forts and these military forts that were built on top of ancient Indian burial grounds. And the people that helped build these forts is what you would call a fucking Tartarian, a Susquehanna, right?
And the Susquehanna were giants, and also the Tartarians were known as giants, and they were both builders.
Susquehanna is one of those giant tribes. The Tartarians were giants. Susquehanna are Iroquois-speaking people. Iroquois-speaking people are known to be ironworkers, roofers, builders. We were people of the Longhouse, Haudenosaunee. They build
New York
longhouses,
Giants.
right? And if you don't know what a longhouse is, it's a 2 to 3 story building that can be a mile long if it wanted. It goes by clan. So we were building skyscrapers horizontally at first, a quarter mile long. Now it's vertically a quarter mile long. And these are some of the first buildings here in America. You're probably wondering why would a mound builder help a colonizer build a...
Okay. Let's see what else. Part 2. Allegheny Mound Builders. Here, this guy's gonna say who the descendants of the Mound
Sea
Builders
Dance 2.0
are,
is now on Artlist, and you can get precisely
I
what you
forgot.
want.
There's
I'll take a
ads on my
robbery
videos
with a
now
fight scene on.
because I get
But on a
monetized.
much to the Hopewell traditions ultimately declined. Whatever the reason for their ultimate demise, archaeological evidence has proven that the groups didn't face extinction. As genetic evidence has proven, the Hopewell are the ancestors of the Chippewa, Delaware, Kickapoo, Miami, Ottawa, Peoria, Potawatomi, Seneca, Yijoni, and Wyandot.
So those are the 4, or not 4, but those are the descendants of the mound builders, and it's all within our territories and where all the giant remains are found too. But I have an awesome video for you guys to watch on your guys' own time. It's called The Mound Builders Are Iroquois Speaking People Part 1. Joya reacts, and then you're going to watch The Mound Builders Are Iroquois Speaking People Part 2. And this goes on to prove how the Iroquois are the descendants, the living descendants of the mound builders, the giant mound builders, actually. Those are some of the best videos. And I react to somebody else that did all that. But guys, I think we're gonna call it a night. It's getting late, yo. It's 1 o'clock. I will be on tomorrow. I don't have to go anywhere, so yo, I'll talk to you tomorrow, bro. Okay. Thanks for coming up and sharing with me, bro. Guess you're going to church Sunday. All right, y'all. Hope y'all have a good rest of your night. Everybody spam W's in the chat. This is how we like to peace out every night. We're back on a regular schedule. Hopefully we got practice this week. We'll see. But I'll talk to y'all later. All right. Have a good night. And escungue.